Usually we wait for the chat guys to come in first, so I'm gonna give them a chance to get in.
I'm gonna check out what you got for thumbnail and stuff and see what we got going here in the live. I can't do it as good when you guys go live during the day.
I totally forget to do it. It's just my bad. I totally forgot. So I'll wait till one person jumps in and then we'll start talking about the slate.
You guys had a nice slate breakdown today. I didn't edit your title, but you had a new thumbnail. I like it.
Yeah, I'm trying to get better about those ones for sure. Oh, Kevin Wise in the chat, even though it doesn't pop up over here. How's he in the chat? Kevin, what's up, buddy? We're gonna get going. Waiting for a few people to pop on in. Here we go. Starting to come on in here.
Yeah, let's go.
All right. So here is what we're gonna do today, guys. Rody, I'm gonna talk through some of what I like. Then you can go through some of what you like. We'll ask everybody, pop in your questions. We'll get to all the questions. We'll talk about some pitching. We'll talk about all of the stuff. So I'm gonna say real quick, my favorite pitchers on DraftKings are Verlander, Detmers, and Wright. I don't mind if you want to mix in Peralta. I am going to use Rogers a little bit as a hedge because I love the Atlanta mini stack, and I don't even think it's just a hedge. I think he's got elite level upside, even though he's been awful. Kopech, Urias, Peralta are all fine. I think Peralta would be the fourth guy I would use behind Verlander, Detmers, and Wright. I don't love the idea of spending down because I don't like the guys to spend down on, but it's always fine to do. Rody, what do you have for pitchers? It's always fine to do early in the season. What do you have for pitchers on this slate?
Yeah, JV at the top. In my write up today, guys. Most of you probably checked it out, but I have JV there at the top. He is going against Toronto. They're kind of a boomer bust team.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they do strike out a lot though, so JV looks really good in the projection models. You got Reed Dieters or I can't even say his name. Reed, Tyreek, Chris Flexen I like, so I kind of want to sprinkle one of those guys in. I did put Freddie in there. He's only 8.9. I do like him. He's going against the power bats, but it's pretty spread out on ownership. I might do the pay down options. I do like Chris Flexen and Reed there at the cheaper prices. So I'm looking at that as we speak.
I can certainly understand the pay down, and Flexen is probably better than a 6K pitcher, but his lack of strikeout upside is kind of why I didn't end up going there. I could understand the Glenn Otto or Flexen angle, or even Senzatella, to be honest with you. At least that guy has a history of actually pitching. Again, no strikeout upside really, but if you're going to spend down, your 12 fantasy points from those guys might be fine. I just think the value bats from the Braves and Giants especially are a little bit too hard for me to ignore. So it makes it pretty easy to want to spend up, which is where I'm at. The Detmers thing, I think if he had a good outing, his last outing, I think he'd be like 35-40% owned at this price in this matchup. This is one of the top overall prospects in baseball. This guy is going to be an absolute stud, and I don't even think it's a question. Will it start tonight? I don't know, but I'm going to bet on it. I want to get ahead on guys like this. So I have Detmers and Verlander in my main lineup just to give it away at the moment. And the other guy I meant to mention that I have a little bit of is Ranger Suarez. But I
think I said Ranger, but I don't think it might have got missed. But yeah,
gotcha.
Maybe I didn't. He's on the list too. Yeah.
Yeah, you could play a Ranger Suarez. Both sides of the pitching in that game are very interesting. The Peralta's been terrible, but we know his upside. And again, while we don't necessarily, it's a fine line, right? Early in the season, like the Verlander thing. The reason why I'm not as worried about Toronto is because even if he gets me like 18 fantasy points, that could actually be the best score. It probably won't be, but it could be the best score on the slate. And he's the only guy who I think has a good chance to actually get to 30 ever. So that's my argument for Verlander is not a lot of downside. Doesn't ever really get touched up. You know what I mean? Doesn't go out there and put up 10 fantasy points in a game basically ever. I don't even know the last time that would have happened for him. I just don't remember it ever happening personally. Maybe since he was in Detroit. So I'm very high on those guys. I do think if the weather was a little better, Kopech, and you could even take a shot with Ober, but I'm not going to do it. Brad Keller's been really good, but there is no way I'm playing 8.2 for Brad Keller. Just absolutely zero strikeout upside. He's pitched two gems, and he still barely crossed 20 fantasy points once in those two. So. That's
Do you give any FanDuel takes? I know we got a lot of FanDuel guys.
Yeah, my FanDuel is Verlander and Wright. That's it for me. I I'm going to have to edit my FanDuel lineup, so make sure to remind me to do that. We'll probably get out of here a little bit before. I'll probably have to throw in some NBA takes because I know we're going to get some NBA questions coming in. Those have been sort of dominating a lot of the chat lately. I'm just going to make sure to get one guy out of my lineup that's not playing before we do anything because he's in my big one, just so I can have somebody as a placeholder. Stack size, stacks. Rody, why don't you start out the stacks and I'll go with mine after you.
Oh man, one page I don't have up is my favorite page.
Well, I'll start with the stacks here.
Hang on. Yes. You give me a go first, and then I'll come back.
Okay, so I like the coastal teams. I like the Yankees, Dodgers, Angels. The best, I love the Atlanta and San Francisco mini stacks. And if you want to play my next stacks, if I got to them, if I was playing 150, would be Houston, followed by Texas and Tampa Bay. Rody, you got some wine over there? We have Project Mayhem asking. I've got the Booch today. It's a Friday, so Booch is up.
Actually, this is some premium cherries. And the bottom, the dark cherries were really good. And this is a whiskey dew that I drink Mountain Dew and whiskey. And
wow.
It's got the darker look to it because it got those black cherries, the dark cherries, the cocktail cherries you get at the bar of the fancy restaurants.
Yeah.
I bought a jar off Amazon. I figured this is the first time I've had them at my house. So
nice.
I'm splurging on it. So for top stacks, we got the Dodgers and the Astros today for me. They're just elite, but they have expensive bats. So I know Bobby said that we got the Braves great out of the top value today for stacks. There's some Twins in there. I know you like Michael on the other side of that weather game, and the other Giants are right there too. So Giants, Arizona, and Braves, maybe some value you can help you get to the JV and then pay down at one option, or maybe you want to try to go crazy with the bats and then do some of the two pay down options that we talked about. But yeah, those are my favorite stacks. The Yankees are there, but they're very boomer bust. We haven't seen much out of them yet this year. They've been in chalk spots and failed. Another team that's probably getting a lot of lower ownership, the Miami Marlins, as they're looking good in the projection a little bit. It's kind of a off the wall stack a little bit. A really low ownership if you guys are large field type stuff, but they're popping in the stack projections on DK at least right there. I wrote them up earlier. And then Giants are right there. Angels been popping, so those are all the green ceiling stacks that I like today. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm targeting. I'll probably stay with some sort of Houston Dodgers in my main lineup. I'm gonna work it out right now. So as we talk about it.
Love it. All right, yeah. So, and I'm just gonna throw out some one-offs that I like. I like if you're not pitching Verlander, I think it's really worth it, and goes back to the conversation we were having the other night in the roundtable discussion, that it's the kind of spot where I would love to take a one-off of Vlad or something against him. I would love to take a one-off of Springer against him or something like that, because the guy will give up some home runs, and that's basically all the explanation you need. And you're gonna get Vlad, in Vlad's case, one of the two best hitters in baseball at zero ownership.
Hey, it's Bobby. I know you said before this you didn't read my articles, but you're like reading exactly what I said.
We're in sync now. It's going to be.
My three favorite teams are Dodgers, Houston, and Toronto. So if Houston and Dodgers are my top two projected teams of the day, I have to say something about Toronto in there and why they're so far down because of JV. But I said that they have some potential for big games, like boom or bust, as I said. So you can take the Vlad or the Springer one-off. Maybe they don't strike out 3 times. Maybe they hit 2 homers. Vlad hits 2 dingers, and you got 30-plus points. So that's a great call on Bobby that just had with a Vlad one-off or something where he's going to get no ownership today. So, and he could hit against the bullpen late in the game too. So, yeah.
And he can hit home runs off of anyone. I mean, we just saw him hit a 3 home run game against when Garrett Cole started. So
exactly. So I think that was a great take on Bobby. So if you guys are listening to that, Rody loves the Dodgers. I see that K9 in the chat. Rody drinking some wine. Oh, that's where you got the wine from. No, that's some good stuff tonight.
And I did say Springer, but actually Springer being out is actually I messed up. I meant to say Bichette. But Springer, without Springer and Teoscar Hernandez, that Houston lineup that Blue Jay lineup isn't quite as strong, which is another.
I didn't realize Springer was out. That makes JV a lot better play, I think.
Yep, absolutely. So that's what I'm thinking.
Although Springer does strike out a lot.
No, it's a mixed bag, with those guys.
Yeah, no, he's either hit some he's hit some homers, or he's had some strikeouts lately. But I think he's a good homer player. He's a great ceiling type player you want in your lineup when he's in.
Yeah. Yep. And by the way, the Dodgers being unowned against Nick Martinez has got to be one of the. I know it's a 13-game slate, but I know, and the only explanation I can have is that it's never this cold in San Diego. It's 58 degrees somehow in San Diego. Crosswinds on the field. I just don't understand how the Dodgers run total isn't projected higher. I'm not saying that they're always going to be over, but I would have thought coming into today, if you would have told me Nick Martinez against the Dodgers, I would have thought the Dodgers have a 5.2, 5.4, somewhere around there run total. That's what I would have gone with personally. Sheets, Rody, any love for the Mets on DK?
Oh, let me look at where they're rate. Yeah, I put them in. I think they're on my list today. I had them in there. They've dropped down a little bit. No, they didn't make the list, but no, yeah, they did. They're okay. They've been hitting the ball well. So if you're like a team that watches the runs, like yesterday they did well. Like Sheets had them a lot yesterday, the low-owned stacks, and I think a couple guys been hitting a lot of homers lately. So if you want to keep riding that streak, they're playing really good ball right now. So I think you can get some love there for a low-owned stack, guys, to take a shot on.
Yep. Anyway, all right. So let's get to some of the thoughts. What's up to everybody in there? Nick Nelson, my man. We're gonna get into some basketball at some point. Don't worry about it, man. We will get there, but it's a big end.
Man, I just decked the show out for MLB. We can't get to basketball.
We're gonna have to talk some basketball. Come on, man. It's the playoffs, buddy.
I know. We can talk basketball. Ooh, I like that question that just came in.
Go ahead, pop off your answer. I think we're gonna have a similar answer, but I'm gonna veer a little bit on it.
Are you looking at the player fade on the New York?
Yep.
High owned? Man, every time they're high owned, I fade.
I, in general, agree with that principle. And I maybe I should make that argument, tonight. You could make them the truth is they are going to be. So high owned is a weird thing to say, though, because
I don't agree with that.
I don't agree that they're going to be high owned. I think it's going to be Judge who's high owned. I think you're going to get Gallo with some ownership, and I think you'll get a little bit of ownership on LeMahieu. I don't think Rizzo. I don't think Stanton. I don't think Donaldson are getting any ownership or hardly any ownership. So I'm not going to worry too much about that. I'm going to take a quick look just to confirm, because for what it's worth about SaberSim, in terms of the ownership projections, they're much, much more accurate than any other site that I look at. In terms
you want to pull up the SaberSim, Bobby, or
not? We because not everybody has the premium and we're doing a live thing. If we had the show behind the paywall, we could do it. But because we don't have that deal set up with them yet, we can't. And by the way, for what it's worth, SaberSim doesn't have any Yankee over 10% owned. And that would be Judge. And I actually think that's probably close to accurate. I think there might be a couple guys who in the higher dollar sneak into a little bit higher owned, because I think people are a little sick and tired of playing the Yankees, to be honest with you, and for good reason. But I'm going to play the long game. There's a ton of power on that team, and I will take them at what is actually going to be low ownership, not high ownership. So I just want to make that part clear. If they were going to be, if we were talking about 20% on three guys in their lineup, I'm not going there. Look at K9 Bronco. I love it. He's going with it. He's obviously K9 Bronco only plays on FanDuel, 30 lineups, 29 of them with Verlander in them. Maybe you could get a little differentiator here and there. I do think he feels like the safest option and the best option on the slate. I don't think I'm going to lock him in, but he is going to be in the majority of my lineups.
I think the real question is, who's he running in that one other lineup?
Yeah, that's a good point there, Mark. Mark popping on in here. Hey, K9, let us know who you're running in that other one. Who's the one
lucky pitcher to play alongside Verlander?
Yeah, I'm curious about that. For what it's worth, Rody answered the question about the Mets. I do like the Mets. There's 13 games going on, so I'm not going to go crazy with everything. I think that this is the kind of slate we talk about the stacking thing. We're going to have the conversation now, Rody. This is the kind of slate where I am more in favor of a full stack. When you have these many games, you want to pick on situations more than you want to necessarily try to find the exact perfect plays. I still probably will end up with some 4-2-2s and 4-2-1-1s, but I really think that on bigger slates, it makes more sense to fully stack. On smaller slates, it makes sense not to. Just wanted to keep in with that. I know it's pretty common. We both know that, right, Rody? But it's not maybe not everybody out there knows it. Would you agree with that? That full stacking at a big slate, because you're not going to full stack on a three game slate. You don't need to full stack a team.
No, I agree. I actually have a breakdown I do want to share in the Discord one of these days, where we break down like how many games are played versus what you should be stacking, and like the top wins from what people have tracked over the previous years. You wouldn't like it as much because the five man stacks are very elite and still showing lots of leverage. I think I think a lot of people are playing optimals in these large field tournaments still. They're running random, trying to guess the 8 guys right. We've seen Al, I think last year a couple times, 8 different players won.
Oh, absolutely. They won
big money.
Yeah.
Literally people are putting these lineups in and just getting lucky on these 8, picking the 8 guys.
Yeah, which is by far the hardest way to do this.
It is super hard. So that's why we do say the stacking. I agree with Bobby tonight. It's a big slate. Pick a team you like. Pick some of these high end. The Mets look good at low own. We talk Houston Dodgers. Stack a 5-man, and then you can play 1-1-1, 2-1, whatever you want to do. Have some one-offs in there. I think we got some one-off hitters that I think Bobby liked. A Houston guy one-off. Yep. I think Cody Bellinger at 3,100 on DK is way too cheap. Yep. He can hit dingers, you know. So there's some good one-offs you can get in with a 5-man that you like that's low owned tonight.
Yeah, I agree. But I do want to just point out that part of the reason why the 5-mans win everything is because at 90%, at least in the high buy-ins, 90% of the lineups are owned by our 5-man stacks. So they're going to win more often, even if they're worse. But in general, we're still in the same general agreement. You want to get more of that stacking, more of that correlation on the bigger slates, because those 3 and 4 gamers like we've been dealing with lately, like yesterday, the 3-gamer, you don't even think about stacking to me on a 3-gamer. Maybe a little correlation between a couple guys who are batting next to each other in the order or something like that.
Actually, my Texas 5-man did okay yesterday.
Yeah, but just because you can't be results oriented. We're talking about the way to play.
I know.
When there's only 3 games, to take a 5-man stack, I think you're giving away equity. And I did the same. I said the same thing. We used to have this thing called King of the Hill, Roadie. And I had you'd have to win your way into it. It's worth 10,000, and then you play for heads up for 10,000 a day. And I was shocked because I won 9 days in a row, which was my top. Then I lost, and then I won the tournament to get back in with one lineup, which was really, really cool. This is not meant as a bragging story, though. What was shocking to me was that in head-to-heads, everything was 5-3 that I was dealing with. Everybody who played me was 5-3, and that's just not the way you should be playing cash game lineups, which is basically what a head-to-head is. And I got that question a couple times today in chat, so I'm going to throw that out there. Anyway, guys, pop in more questions. I will talk a little bit about NBA. I do want to point out a few weather spots that are a little bit interesting. This Chicago-Minnesota situation is just scary enough to make me have no interest in the pitching, and probably I'm not in love with the hitting situation anyway, so I don't want to play with temperatures that cold. So I'll avoid that game for the most part. Not really that excited about any of the other about the Colorado-Detroit game either. I could see an argument being made there if you wanted to get creative, but I'm not going to do it anyway. So the fact that it has some serious rain weather concerns it just makes me know that I'm not going to play any of it. That's really all we've got to talk about. In terms of some other like sweet hitting spots, I want to point out in Atlanta is the warmest. I believe it's the warmest place on the slate. It's almost 80 degrees in Atlanta. And it's really rare to get early season games with that kind of temperature. So I would give a bump up to those bats. And it's 70 degrees in New York, so I would give a bump to those bats. That's pretty much what I've got for some of the weather info that we tend to want to get into. And the teams that see the biggest increase you get a major decrease for the Milwaukee, Philadelphia power. You get a major decrease in Detroit, but obviously we all know that. Atlanta sees a massive, massive increase for power when the temperature is like this. A huge decrease for the Cubs game, which whatever. The Dodgers have a massive decrease compared to normal games. That's partly my only hesitation. Again, only 58 degrees, a little bit frustrating to try and play a team in 58-degree weather as a full 5-man for me. And the other one is Oakland at 58 degrees. Oakland and San Diego, usually you get the game's in the 70s in these places. And now we've got cold weather here on the West Coast, which not in LA, but in those other places we do. The Angels, actually, it's supposed to be 61 tonight, so I guess it is going to get cooler in LA. But not enough of a decrease or a swing any which way, and it's offset a little bit by the 11-mile-an-hour wind blowing out towards right center. So that's my quick weather rundown. All right, let's see. Hey, WWE Fresh, my man's back. People not interested in MLB tonight. Contest looking short. I don't know what that means, contest looking short, man. What does that even mean? Rody, got any idea what that means?
I think he's mean overlays huge. Like 777 is still 172 away from filling.
Oh, wow.
And live qualifiers are still open with 40 minutes to go. I'm adding stuff right now as we speak.
Oh, okay. I like
that. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know what's going on. People are just away or what?
They're all focused on the NBA, which I guarantee
200 entries away on the Monster on FanDuel as well.
Wow, that's pretty wild.
Well, yeah, with 45 minutes to go.
This is when my host comes in and says, hey, if you want to max enter, we'll give you a few free entries. And I'm like, I'm not going to put in 30 entries into a 555 or whatever the fuck it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
just
that's crazy.
I'm like, give me a deal that I can actually take advantage of.
I just dropped into the live qualifier on DK. I didn't want to pay $1,245, but I did.
Gotcha. Rudy, what do you
negative EV? I know.
No, go for it. 1240. I look. You don't know. I used to be the satellite guy. I made like 9. I was at 9 consecutive live finals or whatever back in the day. And I
see all your tickets on RG, all the ones you got in on.
Done with it. But we used to have the Fantasy Aces, which was you missed out on the good old days. I'll tell you what. Fantasy Aces was the nuts. You could do everything. And it was double quarterback also, like in football. So I just was killing it. I mean, I don't even know if I had a losing week in football ever on that site. And the other one was, what was it? What was it called? There was the other one where you could just literally pick any players, no pricing considered. And it was the easiest site in history to win on because everybody just would pick the top projected players on every other site. And just skip. All you have to do is skip a line down, and you'd be fine. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Debbie Fresh, 25K, and I'll get 10% back tonight. Great. I always want to risk 25K to win 2,500, or I don't want to risk 25K to win 100. That just seems like a ridiculous bet. Yeah, I like. We got the baseball narrative. Austin Riley with the new kid. There you go. 3,500.
Dude, you're really talking these Braves up. That might be my go-to tonight. I mean, the optimal's giving me a lot of Braves, so I'm liking it. I'm going to
take a look because I've looked at other sites, and I wanted to specifically wait till we were on air to look at the Braves ownership on SaberSim because I'm not buying at the other sites. And by the way, the SaberSim has them low owned too. I can't for the life of me figure out why Travis d'Arnaud wouldn't be like a cash game lock at 2.2K. So that should mean he'd be 20% owned. I'm seeing projections of less than 10%. You've got, Marcell Ozuna is just all he does is hit home runs and he's 3K, and you've got him at less than 10% owned. Albies and Olsen also too cheap. Maybe it's not the ideal matchup against a lefty. I know Rogers is good. He has talent, but if you get past him and get into that Miami bullpen, man, the wheels could come off. I like the over in that game in general, but I think it could be all on Atlanta's side. It's got an 8 total, I guess, and Atlanta I think might score 8 on their own tonight. So, all right, WW Fresh in with the full stack of the Braves tonight. All right, there we go. Who are two pitchers to play in cash? Rody, I'm going to say on DraftKings the pitchers you play in cash, and you could tell me if you think I'm wrong on this.
Yeah, I talked about it in my article today. The top optimals, Chris Flexen and Verlander is what the cash optimals are coming out at.
Okay, so I would not do that. I would never try and engage the Chris Flexen in the cash lineup. He's fine.
Well, that's what I mean. If you just go on SaberSim, let's see what SaberSim says.
Well, SaberSim is not going to build you a cash lineup. SaberSim is.
Yeah, they do. They got build lineups in cash. You can do cash.
Wait, if you're doing the slide, you're making it for cash, right?
Yeah,
you could just pick cash as your tournament.
Okay. You can just choose cash. So let's see what they do on DK. But my other optimal, my median projection is Chris Flexen. That's just my projection models giving me Chris Flexen and JV.
So personally, if it was me in cash, I would take the two guys who I felt the safest about, regardless of price. I think my cash game plays would probably be either Ranger Suarez and Kyle Wright with Justin Verlander.
Yeah, Justin's going to be
just me personally. Verlander would be
and that Reed guy is projected as number 2 now. He moved up a little bit recently, but at 7-7, I do like him too.
I love him. I don't know that I would consider him a cash game play because of. I mean, we've seen him pitch twice so far, and he's put up a combined 10 fantasy points.
Yeah, you're not going to like this, but the two top pitchers on the top optimal for SaberSim is also Verlander, Chris Flexen.
Hey, I like it. It's all good. It's
uses a salary of $49,900.
Just the way I think that maybe I reacted too strongly to the Flexen thing. I guess he is safe enough. It's just weird to play a guy who, like, if he gives up any runs, you might be dead because he might not get any strikeouts. Like, that's the only thing that worries me about Flexen. Yeah. I know you can do it with cash. I just would never. I don't play cash, obviously, but I used to, and I did very well with it. It just is not enjoyable to me, and I want to hate my life, so I keep playing these tournaments. No, I'm just kidding. No, I want to win the big stuff.
I get you want to win, though. I get you want to win the big stuff. The only thing I liked about cash is I felt like you could win a little bit in GPP, right? Like, or if you lose in GPP, you can hedge a little bit, getting a little bit money back every time you play.
That's true.
But then at the same time as you're playing high GBBs, then I'm playing high cash, then I just got a massive amount of money every slate, on the line. And like there's days you go without winning both cash and GBB.
Right.
You just really hit the bankroll. So
right. Taking a quick look at the ownership throughout the industry, just to let you know who's the most popular. And the Mets are the most popular team according to SaberSim that on the board. So, well, we thought the Mets might be lower owned. I'm going to believe in SaberSim a little bit on this one, that the Mets will not be, in fact, lower owned. They of the top 7 players, 4 of them are Mets in terms of ownership, projected ownership. But I wouldn't worry as much about ownership tonight. It looks like the Yankees just got increased a little bit by SaberSim. It's like they're listening to me or something. But only Judge still above 10%, but they did just bump them up a little bit. All right, let's get to any more questions, and then I'll jump into the NBA stuff. Rody, I'm guessing you're not playing NBA tonight, knowing you.
I am not, but if you want me to stay on, I can.
Well, don't go out and get out of here. We'll get out of here, but we'll give you 15, 20 minutes. Is that good enough?
Yeah, that's fine.
To build the rest of your things. All right. So NBA lineups for me. The guy I'm not fading Giannis. I'm going to go back to Bogdanović. I'm going to play DeLon Wright. I don't think these minutes are by any means secure for DeLon Wright, but I'm willing to speculate because he's 3,400 and he makes other things work for me. Pat Connaughton is the chalk I'm also going to eat. I really like Bam. I don't know where he's going to end up ownership-wise, but you can imagine everybody's going to go to Vooch because he's just crushing these guys. I think maybe playing a Vooch-Bam lineup is a good way to get a little bit different. Cam Johnson is chalk I'm going to have some of, and I am going to play some Levine and Collins. Those are the guys who I'm most heavy overweight on. I also am very high on Chris Paul and DeMar DeRozan. And my other, I don't want to call it sneaky, but look out for a potential Bobby Portis game after getting injured in the last game. Going back to Chicago, you get a little extra narrative in there for you. No Chris Middleton. Maybe he gets to play some minutes with Lopez. Maybe he doesn't. We'll see. But I like Bobby P as a funny play here tonight. Young Holiday or Young Collins? Wait, that's a really weird question. Those are incredibly different prices. I don't know how to. I can't. Joanne, rephrase that one because that's a 3K. I'm not going to leave 2,100 on the table to play Collins over Holiday, but I have more Collins than I do Holiday, but that's because he's 5,900 and Holiday's 8K. Is this a FanDuel related question by chance? Maybe that's what I'm missing. Thoughts on Herb Jones? I think he's locked into the minutes. I like him as a play. I like him better on FanDuel than I do on DraftKings. That's where I stand on the Herb Jones thing. I think he's fine on DraftKings as well, but always a guy I like to play a little more on FanDuel than I do on DraftKings. Just sort of a fine mid-tier play. But if you want to, if we got into a Herb Jones versus DeAndre Hunter, very similar-ish type players, really good defenders, young guys, all this stuff, I think I'd lean Hunter a little bit over Herb Jones. And it's really close between those two for me, but that's where I stand. All right. SF, K9 Broncos at San Francisco, Atlanta, and the Dodgers are the top stacks on FanDuel. I like all of those. Good job, K9. Hopefully you take something down. I'm feeling good about tonight, guys. I feel like we're going to see some screenshots, and I don't mean second place screenshots. I think we're going to get some first places tonight, so let's make sure to make it happen. Joanne with the question. I'm trying to understand. I really like Joanne, but I'm trying to understand this question. In the same card on DK. Rody, can you help me make sense of the question? Young Holiday or Young Collins? I just don't understand. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that one. I'm sorry, Joanne.
Are you playing Young with Holiday and Young with Collins? Which one do you like better? Or they're different?
Yeah, but they're different. They're not only different positions. They're like, I mean, it's like saying, who would you rather play, Giannis or Herb Jones? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't know how to answer those kind of questions. It never. So I think that, again, I guess I spoke to it as best I could. I have more Collins, but if he was 8K, I would have more Holiday. I'll say it like that. Fire it into more guys, or Joanne, clarify that one because I'd love to help you out. I just don't quite know what we mean on that one. Let's see what else we got here tonight. All right. I'm just going to go through a couple of other, again, I mentioned that on DraftKings, some of my favorite one-off things. I really like Seager or Pena as my shortstop. On FanDuel, I really like Seager even more. And Seager, Muncy, Tucker, Rendon would be my 4 favorite one-offs on FanDuel.
There's no Altuve today, eh?
Yeah, little bump down for the Houston full stack, I guess. But every time he sits, it's always used to happen with them. I swear they would score like 15 runs every time he sat.
Now I feel like stacking them with my Dodgers because they got a couple of cheap guys I like.
They'll be lower owned a little bit because of that news. Any Herder love it all? Love Herder. It depends on where you think he's going to be owned. I was a big on him last week because last time they played because he was going to be so low owned. I'm not quite as high on him today because I don't think he's going to be low owned, and I like other plays in the range. I'd rather find the 900 to get to Collins. I'd probably rather him than Gallinari, but it's pretty close between them. And I think Hunter is more secure to play all of the minutes. So I guess I'd go Hunter over him a little bit. It's close. But at the same ownership, roughly, I guess I'm giving him a little bit of a bump down tonight because of the ownership. Do I like Mikal Bridges at all? Mikal Bridges, I like because just for the reason you said, my buddy Nick, I like that the minutes are so secure for him. What I don't think people should do is think because Devin Booker's out, it means Mikal Bridges is going to be an offensive firework. It's really barely an increase for him at all. He did have 1 or 2 monster games, but that was with Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and DeAndre Ayton out. And he still wasn't going off. He was putting up 25 fantasy point games. Now you got him in the postseason. The minutes are secure. I'm not using any of him, but I have no problem if you want to. Who benefits the most with no Middleton? Everyone. Giannis, number 1. Number 2 would be Holiday. And then, well, I guess depending on who starts, it'd be Connaughton, assuming that Connaughton starts, or Grayson Allen would be the other guys. So some mixture of that depending on who's in the starting lineup. And I don't think we have a starting lineup yet because I haven't seen it. Collins in power forward spot. Yes, I'm totally confused on this one still. Yes, I like Collins at power forward. That's what I do like Collins at power forward. I guess I'll just answer it that way. All right, Rody, final baseball thoughts before we end up going to have to build the rest of our lineups. Anything that you want to you're going with the Atlanta thing, you think, huh?
Yeah, I don't have any Riley, which you just talked up. I think I'm going to go cheap catcher with like Travis, like Albies and Ozuna, 5 Dodgers, and then Flexen and Verlander, something like that.
Love it, buddy. That sounds good.
I do have like a chase lineup. I think I'm going to, or like a pitcher down pay option, like both pitchers down. Then I got like Bregman, Pena, Tucker with 5 Dodgers. So nice. Will Smith in there as instead of like, a cheap catcher. So like,
who would have thought one day I'd be doing shows with somebody who likes the Dodgers even more than I do. Come on. I'm the biggest Dodger fan in the world. This guy plays the Dodgers even more than I do.
Yeah, but who knows if that's any good?
I know it's good. I've seen the 6-figure receipts, Rody.
I did show one of those off.
Yeah, I've seen it, so I know it.
So we're in a big live final today. So let's hope for Dodgers, Atlanta, all the homers. So
yep. Yeah, Joanne, I like all 3 of them. To answer that question, any Joval love, I think he's a really good way, and I'm going to check the most updated ownerships to get different, I was going to say, and I think that's accurate. I think he's going to end up less than 15% owned, and he has tremendous upside. So I actually really, really like that play with the increase in prices to Ingram. And then McCollum is still a really strong play. But I do like the Joval idea. And for what it's worth, Ingram is 9K, and that's not a good, there's nowhere near optimal. But if you want to get different in just one spot, play Ingram at 9K and play the chalk everywhere else. Nobody's playing Ingram today. And that seems wrong. I mean, the guy put up 70 fantasy points in the last game. It's not like he can't get there. It's not like he doesn't have a ceiling.
Holy crap. He did 70 points in that game?
59.25. I exaggerated.
Oh. I was like, holy crap.
I gave him the point. 69.25 is pretty close to 70. And Nick, we nailed it. He's called the 70 burger from Jokic. I don't think we can brag about calling 70s for Jokic, though. I don't think we're allowed to do that. It feels too cheesy. It'd be like bragging about Verlander putting up 20 tonight or something. Last one in. Any interest in Trey? I'm totally fine with Trey. It's the worst possible matchup, but it is the playoffs, and he's going to probably get there. Look, he's been nowhere even close in the first 2 games with the way that they're defending him. I'm going to go back to Bogdanovich, and I'm going to skip the Trey tonight, but I don't mind if you want to go a different way. She's got younger, grew a beard, but he lost the second half of his body because of the black light I think they're talking about. Yeah, that's pretty funny. All right, we've got about 5 more minutes, guys, so make them good. Let's ask a few questions. Let's get the like button in there, please. Give us the thumbs up if you don't mind. And,
we're up to 31 viewers. We got 14 likes in here. Let's go. What a show.
All right, guys, pop it on in there. I'm going to make sure of one more thing before I get out of here, because all these games, both basketball and baseball, start at 6, 7 tonight.
Yeah, it's crazy night, eh?
Yeah.
Is it too bad that I built my baseball lineup in like 4 minutes?
No, I once won one of my 6-figure wins. I was driving across the Golden Gate Bridge in traffic, and I built it on my phone. So without looking at
I've built 2 of my biggest 100K nights on my phone.
Hey, Bobby, I got a quick basketball question for you. Super important. Which actor is doing the best job on Winning Time?
Ooh, I don't even think it's John C. Reilly all day. I mean, look, it may not be the flashiest role, but that man he's awesome. He's freaking awesome. He's the best actor on the show, in my opinion. So I'm always going to say John C. Reilly, but that's a good one. How about you, Mark? You got any takes on the Winning Time actors?
I'm loving the Winning Time. I think the guy that's playing Kareem has him down perfectly.
Oh, wait, no, the guy who's playing Magic.
Oh, Magic's great too, but
yeah, I agree with the Kareem though too.
Kareem is like just spot on with the deadpans and the kind of quiet overtones and stuff. So amazing show though, amazing show.
Oh, it's so entertaining. I mean, it definitely took some liberties, but who cares?
They're all getting sued. They're all getting sued, right?
That's what I want in a show though. Make it great, make it entertaining. It's like it wasn't quite my childhood. It was the year before I was born, but I grew up with the Laker mania around me, so it's like I felt like I lived it, even though I didn't actually. Also, you get the MSU connection with Rhodey over there and then Magic. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Rhodey, I told you that all my buddies from poker are all MSU guys. They're literally like, they're literally like my best friends, all from poker. All right. Looks like we're good to basically almost get out of here. Anything else, Mark? Any other ideas or questions? That was a good one. I like the Winning Time angle. We got 3 more minutes.
No, I'm marching out 36 baseball lineups. One of them is going to be in a top 10 somewhere. So we're going to see what happens.
Let's go. Let's take this one down though this time. No more 9th or 10th or anything like that, Mark. We want firsts.
I understand.
I'm just messing with you.
Yeah, we gotta get a lot of firsts tonight. It's gotta be big.
Let's do it. I think we threw out. I mean, look, this is a great spread out slate. I love the big slates, as Sheets always points out. These are my favorite slates where should be a lot of points out there. Colorado and Detroit is postponed, by the way. So take those guys out of your lineups if you were playing them anyway, which you probably shouldn't have been, but doesn't matter to get them out of there now. And again, guys, please like before you get out of here. It really means a lot to us. And check out all the stuff we have on the site. Any questions and everything like that, me and Mark will be recording a video either this weekend or next week. And we're going to talk about just best ways to utilize the site. We've got some videos with Evan up there. We've got the videos with the Saber, some guys on the main homepage. A lot of good stuff. You get all of Rhodey's picks, all of Rhodey's stacks, all of Rhodey's write-ups and of the pitching and everything, all of my plays, all of my bets. And especially I would encourage you, if you don't want to listen to me about anything else, trust me when it comes to the NBA overall betting. I'm not saying I'm going to win every night, but over 75% for counting the playoffs is for the year is basically the freaking nuts. And I don't know if I'll ever have a year like that again, but it's definitely the sport I know the best about when it comes to straight betting. Mark, Adam loved the process videos you made on YouTube. The process videos you made.
Mark, he's liking the series, right? Yeah. So the series is out there. There'll be another episode this weekend. If you guys are just starting out and want to see what a beginner's journey through DFS looks like, please check out the show.
Or if you lived it and want to see someone else experience it, then you can still check it out, because that's what.
Absolutely.
All right, well, Mark, thanks for popping on in, man. Always appreciate it. Rhodey, thanks so much for coming on in. Always great to have you here. We got to make sure to make this happen more often. And good luck and get well to Sheets. And guys, let's make some money tonight. Rhodey, what do we say?
Let's get it.
LFG.